Okay, now welcome to the last stop on this tour bus. To the top where I was told hard work would lure us. Sure enough, look where I'm headed. The opposite direction of the life that I dreaded.
Alright, now we're going to break down the AL MVP race. We got to the news and notes a little bit earlier. Here's the AL MVP race. It's basically a five-guy race between Jacoby Ellsbury, Curtis Granderson of the Yankees, Ellsbury of the Red Sox, Justin Verlander of the Tigers, Adrian Gonzalez of the Red Sox, and Jose Bautista of the Toronto Blue Jays. So let's get into the numbers first, and then we will give our thoughts on it. Starting with Jacoby Ellsbury, he is batting .313 with 22 home runs and 79 RBIs, and on-base percentage of .370 and 33 stolen bases. Now, when you compare that to Curtis Granderson, everything except the average kind of is canceled out. And for the record, when I made my sleeper MVP pick prior to this season, I picked Curtis Granderson, so I will take some credit there. Granderson's batting .281, which doesn't compare with Ellsbury, but he has 35 home runs more than Ellsbury, 98 RBIs more than Ellsbury, and 24 stolen bases, which is close enough to Ellsbury that you kind of say he's having a tremendous season, but it's not an MVP season. It's top 5 finish, and he's having a tremendous season, don't get me wrong, but I am going to quickly eliminate him. AC can still pick him. We talked about this prior to making the video. Justin Verlander would be the third one. 19-5 with a .228 ERA, 212 strikeouts, a .88 whip, and a 185 average against, along with 209 innings pitched. Now, I know you're all saying, well, it's tough to compare this guy to a bunch of hitters. And I know you're also saying they don't pick pitchers to win MVPs. I'll get to that in a second. But Verlander, 19-5, we'll compare him with the guy that most people say is the best pitcher in baseball, Roy Halladay. Verlander's 19-5, Halladay's 15-5. Verlander's got a .228 ERA, and then you're talking about a .256 ERA for Roy Halladay. Verlander's got 212 strikeouts compared to Roy Halladay with 182. Verlander's got a .88 whip compared to Verlander or Halladay's 105. And whip, you want a lower number for those of you who don't know. Batting average against is .248 for Justin Verlander for Roy Halladay. My bad. For Justin Verlander, it's 185. And one of the big thing about Roy Halladay is that he's such a workhorse. Innings pitched. For Roy Halladay, it is 189 compared to Justin Verlander's 209. So that just about sums up how good of a season Justin Verlander is having this year for the Tigers. Now, for Adrian Gonzalez, .343 average on his way to winning the batting title, most likely. The number that really holds him back, I picked Gonzalez to win MVP earlier this year, and I said at the beginning of the year that he would thrive home run-wise moving to a park where lefty power hitters have great success because of a short right field. Well, hasn't exactly happened. It's amazing that he can hit home runs in the mid-30s, even to 40 in Petco Park in San Diego, which is one of the biggest parks, and then you send him out to Boston, he's only got 18 home runs. Although he does have 94 RBIs, which to Curtis Granderson is second on this list. He's also got a .404 on-base percentage. Now, the final guy on this list, Jose Bautista, is kind of a guy that you normally say, well, power hitters don't win unless they hit 55, 60 home runs. So I think that the thing about Jose Bautista right now is that he's doing so well, you have to put him into this list because he's having a season that's more than just a power hitter season. He's batting .318 with 36 home runs, 80 RBIs, and a .459 on-base percentage. Now, I don't know if this guy's on steroids or whatever. Everyone's always speculating. The bottom line is he's having a damn good year to back up what most people call the fluke last season. I said this year he would still hit 35 to 40 home runs, and I think at this point he could probably still hit 40 home runs. But AC, Out of all these guys, give me your top 3 or so.
My top 3, if you're going off today, the stats that we're looking at, I would go Jose Bautista, Adrian Gonzalez, and then Curtis Granderson. Everyone's talking about Granderson like he's, this guy that's up and coming and he's going to sneak in and win it. I don't think so, because I think his average holds him back a little much. And another stat that people don't talk about a lot is strikeouts. He has 131 strikeouts, which is a lot more than any of these guys that we've named. Adrian Gonzalez has 88, and Jose Bautista has 78. MVPs don't usually strike out a whole lot, but that and his average, I think, is what holds him back for me. Jose Bautista, he has an OPS, which is, if I'm correct, I think it's average plus on-base percentage plus slugging percentage, or just on-base percentage plus slugging percentage, something like that. It's weird. But his slugging percentage is .652, his on-base percentage is .459, and that adds up to an OPS of 1.111. And that's pretty incredible considering no one else on this list is even really close to that. That plus the home runs sets him over Adrian Gonzalez for me, even though Adrian Gonzalez is batting .343, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I mean, out of the hitters on this list, if I had to choose a hitter to take, I'm obviously going to take Adrian Gonzalez. That doesn't mean that he's having the best season, though. He is an incredible hitter, though. For me, my number 3 guy would be Adrian Gonzalez right now. That could certainly change, but he's got to hit some more home runs in this next month and a half left in the season. Number 2, I would put Jose Bautista, batting .318 with 36 home runs and 80 RBIs. That's a pretty good season. Or that's a really good season, I should say. And number 1, I'm putting Justin Verlander. You take that guy off the Tigers, what he's meant to them this year, and they are a below 500 team. As it stands, they're about 11 games above 500. Justin Verlander, I mean, they need to start considering more pitchers for this award. If you are the true MVP, and I think that MVP gets lost in what it really means. A lot of people say, well, if you take this guy off your team, if you take Derrick Rose off the Bulls, it means more than if you take LeBron James off the Heat. Well, if you take Chris Kaneman off the Los Angeles Clippers, it probably means more to the Clippers than if you take LeBron James off the Heat, because the Heat would still be a good team. But it is, you got to look at, if you take them off the team and their stats combined and understand what they mean. And
you could make the argument for Justin Verlander in the sense that I really don't think any of these players mean more to a team than Justin Verlander, and he's having an MVP caliber season. The only reason I didn't put him on my list is because he's been my Cy Young guy from day one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's got the Cy Young completely locked up. There's no questions about it. The Cy Young race is over. It doesn't matter if Jared Weaver ends up with an ERA of 1. He's not going to win the Cy Young. Justin Verlander's won the Cy Young, and the media is kind of starting to get on his bandwagon now, which usually doesn't bode well for people that I like. But, I mean, Justin Verlander's having a tremendous season. Hell, I mean, I think he is a slam dunk MVP this year, based off what all these people mean to their team. I mean, the looking at his stats compared to Halladay was really telling for me. And, I mean, I don't understand why pitchers aren't considered for this award. If you are the MVP, you're the MVP. CC Sabathia last year should have been number 2 in the MVP race behind Josh Hamilton, not Robinson Cano. Because who meant more to the Yankees? It was CC Sabathia. CC Sabathia didn't deserve the Cy Young last year. Felix Hernandez did. But CC Sabathia put the Yankees on his back a lot of that season last year. So I don't understand why pitchers aren't considered for that award. And when I said that last year, people laughed at me and said, oh, you don't know anything about sports. They never put those type of guys, or they never put pitchers in consideration for that. And I think that's bad logic.
I mean, I don't know. I just like the fact of having an MVP, you know, as a hitter. I feel like pitchers, you know, the Cy Young is like their thing. Like it's literally impossible for a hitter to win the Cy Young. So why would a pitcher, you know, be the MVP? That's the only thing. I think I separate them more than a lot more. I know I separate them more than you do. I really just didn't. It never crossed my mind to vote for a pitcher as an MVP. I don't know. I don't know why that is. I think it's dumb too, because Verlander is having the type of season that you could definitely. Look at all the people that are making a case for him. I mean, it's incredible because he's had that type of year, and he means that much to that franchise. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Curtis Granderson's having a tremendous season too. His former Tiger teammate, and this whole thing that he's up and coming. The guy's like 29 years old. He was with the Tigers when they went to the World Series in 06, and he was a beast back then. He just says that he's getting the coverage now and the hype because he is having a better season than he's ever had, but because of he's playing in New York. So that's where that comes from, and I think that's where some of the MVP hype comes from. To put this guy in, I'd put him fourth. I'd put him above Jacoby Ellsbury, but to put him above Verlander, Gonzalez, or Batista, I just can't do it because of the type of season those three guys are having. Adrian Gonzalez, I guess if you take him off the Red Sox still be a really good team. But the stats just keep this guy up there. He is just a beast, and he's a solid fielder. Curtis Granderson's a very good fielder, too. And Jacoby Ellsbury's having a very good season. There's no question about that. But I think that Justin Verlander's the guy, and I think he's having one of the best pitching seasons I've ever seen. This guy is only 28, and he's always been a really good pitcher, but this year he's just taken it to a whole nother level, and we may be seeing the guy who for the next 3, 4, 5 years is the best pitcher in baseball. I mean, CC's getting up there, he's 32, Holiday's 34. You know, the guys we've been used to saying are the best pitcher in baseball are kind of getting old, so maybe Verlander's the next guy coming up. I don't know.
I could definitely say that is 100% possible. And this guy has the type of stuff, and he throws the amount of innings. He has the shutdown, you know, pitches. I don't know how many complete games he has this year, but I think it's some like ridiculous number.
That's the one number he's never going to beat Halladay in, though.
No, I don't think so. But when you look at the numbers of this season, I mean, even if he does 3/4 of what he has this season, next season, and in the years coming, he'll still be considered as one of the elite pitchers in the game for the next 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Verlander's having a tremendous season. Fans in Detroit got to be obviously extremely excited for this guy, and they have playoff chances as long as he is pitching for this team. Delman Young, I said it last week, was one of the most underrated pickups at the MLB trade deadline. He actually came through waivers last week. The guy has a lot of talent. He's put it together in a couple years and wasn't doing it this year. He's 25 years old, and the Twins already moved on from him. And to give him in the division, it didn't make sense. But if you add that, you get a couple hot bats for the Tigers, who have a solid line. Miguel Cabrera continues to be the most underrated player in the MLB. And then if you have an ace like Justin Verlander, you're in a good spot in the playoffs. Justin Verlander could be that guy that you say, kind of like what Cliff Lee did in his year with the Phillies. He won the Cy Young with the Indians the year before, and casual baseball fans, a lot of them hadn't heard of him because the Indians weren't good that year. But then he came into the playoffs, and these last few years with a couple different teams, he's had great success. So maybe Justin Verlander is going to go through and put the team on his back towards the playoffs. So, I mean, the Tigers are certainly a contender right now.
If there's one guy that can put the Tigers on his back and lead them to the playoffs, it's Justin Verlander.